Shalom, Yasharala. This your brother Dawada, coming back at you with this here truth again. First and foremost, I want to give all praise unto Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, or HaKadosh. Double honor to the apostles and elders of great millstone that taught us this truth and that rule well. And salutation and much love for you. I can push this truth and sincerity on the four corners of the earth and enduring afflictions to feed and edify the elect. So as everybody knows what's going on right about now, it's all in the open now. A prime example of that Habakkuk 2, where the prophecies are going to speak, even though it may tarry, and it's not going to tarry, it's going to surely come. Though it tarry, wait for it, it's surely going to come. It's going to speak and not lie. Now we're in those times, man. Now we're in the beginning of these sorrows, man. We're actually in the sorrows now, and things are going to just get worse and worse and worse. With this here coronavirus, not necessarily the virus part about it, because like I've been saying, there's a lot more things that, is, how do I put it, that this is affecting more or less than you just getting sick. Really that's probably one of the least concerns you have. But nevertheless, when you look at the bigger picture, the domino effect that this is having, dealing with the economy, which with the American economy, like I've been saying beforehand, the American economy has tanked in like 2001 when George Bush was in office. He gave us a stimulus package. Barack Obama gave us a stimulus package. Now with this new situation, as you can see now, they're rushing, they have a saying where they don't let any kind of tragic event or anything like that go to waste. Whenever some things like this happen, let's just say, we're not going to sit here and speculate or debate whether or not this is how do I say, if this is man-made or pushed out as a weapon or whatever, whatnot, which, I believe that that's possibly what happened. You know what I'm saying? Or if this is real, or if it's fake, or if they got it, or if they don't, like the coronavirus is out there or not, that's not the thing. The thing is the effects that it's having, as, and as we, how do I say, we measure these things according to the prophecies that's in the scriptures. All right. So as we can see how, we know, how do I put it? We know the end results. We know what's going to happen. We just don't know exactly how it's going to get there. Like, let's say, for instance, Jacob's trouble. All right. Persecution. We know that Esau is going to come down on the men of the Lord. All right. But we don't know exactly how he's going to do it. Whether or not, we can't tell you, okay, he going to kick in your door. You're going to wind up getting shot, and you're going to wind up getting stomped out by a mob of people. Now, we don't know about anything like that. All right. Like, we can also read in the scriptures about, pestilence that's coming. All right. When you go into that, it means disease. So, in the scriptures, we know that these things are coming: earthquakes, wars, and rumors of wars. Now, dealing with World War III, we know the people that's going to be in it and the outcome of it, But nevertheless, again, the so-called buildup, what is going to be the so-called the point, is one certain person going to wind up getting assassinated or killed, and then that's going to go to all-out war. Is some kind of terrorist attack going to happen? We don't know about those things, but what we do know is what's going to happen. All right. So like I said, as far as how it's going to build up to these things, and we just have to watch as it unfolds. But nevertheless, as we know, and we're on the cuffs of what? The last final major prophecies coming to pass, which are Jacob's trouble. All right. The RFID chip, which is the mark of the beast. All right. World War III. All right. And the return of the Lord, with these things on pretty much as the wind down of how this whole story goes, and we can, how do I put it, we can measure according to the prophecies in the scriptures and things like that basically these things are all going to happen all at one time. Like the RFID chip is going to come, we could tell about that it's going to come around with some kind of like a global economic collapse, which this thing here could be, like I said, the catalyst that's going to trigger that to happen. But and of course, we're waiting on the RFID chip to be pushed out there, as far as prophecy concerning the mark of the beast. All right, World War III. We know eventually, it's going to be fought between Russia and America and their allies. How do you say, when the Lord returns? All right, and that's going to come in the midst of what? The chariots coming. So we can measure all these things. And know that these are pretty much going to, how do I say, fall. One after another, more or less to say. They're going to pretty much come quickly. But as we escalate up to that scenario, all right, just like if you were following this, listening to the men of the Lord maybe 3, 4, 5 years ago, 6, 7 years ago, or something like that, and they tell you about World War III's coming in Russia and America and so on and so forth, you probably wouldn't be able to see that as you look around the world, because at that point in time, they weren't the best of friends, but nevertheless, they wasn't really, overtly or America wasn't overtly banging at Russia like that. You know, they wasn't really even looking at them as really a threat because their economy was well, it wasn't trashed at that point. It was slowly growing, but nevertheless, along with their military and their military equipment. So if you was to look back at Russia, let's just say 10 years ago, you couldn't see they're not going to have superior weapons against America, whatever, whatnot, so on and so forth. But now, as you starting to see with Vladimir Putin coming into office and them developing these new offensive weapons, the hypersonic missiles and so on and so forth, and the defensive weapons like the S-400, S-500, and so on and so forth, you get the Satan 1 and Satan 2 thermonuclear, intercontinental thermonuclear missile. As you see they developing these things, now you can see, okay, now it's starting to come clear that, in a case of World War III against Russia and America and their allies, that Russia would have, if not equal, but more superior firepower. It wouldn't just be a landslide victory for America, Now it's getting more clear to see these things. But now, fast forward until today, like I said, dealing with this coronavirus, all right, not just looking at, people getting infected, people are getting sick or whatever, whatnot, not that scenario. But as you can see, every day as we go on by, they change the stories. And it's crazy because of the fact that they'll kind of tell you what's coming next, but they'll say it as a suggestion. In the beginning, it's like, we're thinking about we may have to shut the schools down, all right, for an extra week, or we may have to shut the schools down. Then it's like, well, we may have to shut the schools down for an extra week after spring break. Till, okay, we're going to have to do it for a month. Till, okay, we might have to do it, to the end of the year, and just call this year quits. And in some places, that's what you see happening, all right? And again, with the, I forgot what they're calling it, but basically you got to stay away from groups of people. It was like, stay under groups of people. I believe it was like 1,000, 500, 200, 100, 50. And, I was seeing some numbers saying like 10 nowadays. I think I was seeing that on TV maybe last night or today sometime, But nevertheless, in different places, you got different things going on. But nevertheless, as you see in all these things, if you can work from home or whatever, whatnot. I've been going into this about all these things, but as you looking around at the realization of all these things, man, you see Babylon the Great, which is, America, which is known in the scriptures as Babylon the Great, all right, is coming to a grinding halt. Not just America, but the whole globe at the same time, So, like I said, it's not really important of whether or not this is, people are really getting sick from this or whatever, whatnot. The thing to take a note is the reaction to a lot of these things and what's really going on. All right. Like I said, before your eyes, I was having this conversation with somebody the other day, and, it was just kind of like, kind of clicking in my mind. I'm like, oh shit, we're just talking about the things that was going on with this here situation. And they're talking about closing down these schools. They're saying, they'll be for a week. And then they were saying, all right, well, maybe 14 days. Okay, maybe a month. All right, then maybe to the end of the year. And I'm like, okay. And then what are they doing? They, if you can't, we're going to learn from home. Okay, if you can't, if you can, stay home from work and work from home and so on and so forth, So, and we also know that how they're shutting down a lot of things here, in the long term anyway. They've been doing it, shutting down and consolidating a lot of things for the long term. George Bush was in office. They started getting rid of a lot of these jobs. Barack Obama sending a lot of these factories overseas and things like that, kind of like drying up Babylon's river, more or less to say, as a metaphor, So things have been slowly but surely getting cut off to where, that's why we live in this so-called gig, what is it called, like a gig type society where a lot of people are doing Uber and Lyft and things like that for a job, all right? Because, we're not really in an industrial type of setting anymore where, you got factory jobs and so on and so forth, But nevertheless, I was looking at these things just like, like I said, with the Uber and the Lyft, this is just really getting people used to certain things, not owning their own cars or whatever, whatnot, and Airbnbs and everything like that till one day, also Amazon, with the shopping on Amazon. I think Amazon recently said that basically they're going to start cutting so many thousands of jobs, but nevertheless, this is all in preparation for what, like Uber and Lyft. All right. These are all in preparation for what? Self-driving cars. All right. So you ain't going to have no car no more. I forgot what, how you call it, event or speech these people were at when they was talking about this. It's one of these agendas, like Agenda 2030 or Agenda 2050 or something like that. But nevertheless, they were speaking about this, living in a world where you don't own anything. You basically just you can reserve the rights to use certain things. It's like, why do I want to own a car when I can just call a car service whenever I need one? Now you have Uber, all right, and so on and so forth. Why do I want to own a house when I'm going to just stay there overnight? Why not just rent a room or rent the house for the night or whatever, whatnot. Then you get Airbnb, and of course, like I said, they spoke about this way before you even had an idea of Airbnb and Uber and things like that. But as you see it come to play, all right, and then they tell you about what the next step is, what self-driving cars and so on and so forth, which Uber already has that in their plans. But nevertheless, this is like the type of society they would want you to be in, where they also talked about universal income, where I can't think of what fucking agenda this was, or one of these like so-called long-term plans. They were speaking about this because way back in the day they were saying that the healthcare business is going to be one of the biggest booming businesses here in the near future. You're going to have an increase of stress-related problems, all right, and so on and so forth. And as you see now, not going too far off topic with this, but now you start to see a lot of these people, especially the younger generations, so-called suffering from depression and so on and so forth, to where they're not working. I remember I had met a couple different chicks, relatively around my age or if not younger, who were, they had their own place or whatever, whatnot, but they're like, y'all don't work? What's going on? Or whatever, whatnot. To come to find out, they were on disability, all right? And the disability that they had was depression. You see what I'm saying? So, like, you getting paid to stay at home, you know what I'm saying? For your disability, you got a crib, a car, and, you go shopping, go get your Jordans and everything like that. But, ultimately, you got a disability, a so-called disability, because why? You could say you're depressed. But like I said, looking back at those things from years ago, as they, talked about what will be happening in the future, we starting to see these things take place. So, like I said, they the whole U.S. is changing in a sense. Your way of life is changing. All right, you're getting used to certain things and so on and so forth. As I see them prepping people for these things, especially in the eyes of fear, more or less, to say, getting people used to not being around other people like that. Being in big areas, big events, big crowded areas, and things like that. Because to them, the ultimate perfect world would be everybody stay at home and just watch TV and play your virtual reality video games and stuff like that, live in virtual or augmented reality, all right? I.e. the movie The Matrix, okay? That's how they want you to be, where everybody plugged in a little pod and you virtually see the world, whatever, whatnot. It's exactly like how in The Matrix, that's how they want you to basically be, and you basically feed a big bio machine. You the energy source, more or less to say. But your real life, is living in a virtual world. So as saying all that to say this is like, yo, man, they getting people used to staying at home, with the kids staying out of school for so long. Now they having these online courses and the college courses. All it takes is for one genius to be like, hold up, wait a minute. And this time of this coronavirus crisis, when we had everything shut down and everything, but we were still kind of moving at half the capacity in some sort, like the schools, for some instances, the schools may not close, but they might just do interactive learning, on the internet, FaceTime and things like that, live streaming classes, churches and things like that, people working from home. And it's like, wait a minute. If I was a business and I can get the same production out of you, whether you work at the house or if you work at the job, I'm a damn sure tell your ass to go home and work so I don't have to pay some of this here overhead, like, rental property for a business, the water bill there, the light bill, the internet bill, the phone bill or whatever, whatnot. You got to go on and all these different things for renting a property for your business to be in. Why would I do that when I could just have all my employees work from home? Same thing. Well, why do we want to keep spending so much money on how they call it, federal funding for schools, education and stuff like that? Well, we can cut that budget in half by just letting the kids stay at home and just do it over the internet or whatever, whatnot, and so on and so forth. We're already a tight economy and so on and so forth. So, just looking at all these things, it's like, damn, man, they could technically be prepping us for a whole abrupt switch up and change in life, to where after the so-called coronavirus situation died down and everything like that, people are still already kind of primed and prepped to just go ahead and be living in this type of state. But nevertheless, we know according to prophecy that this is how it's going to all end here in Babylon, man. All right. And what's also beautiful about this is how powerful the Lord is to sit there and bring everybody's plan, because everybody's thinking in their own YOLO spirit. I'm going to do my own will, do whatever I got to go, do thou wilt situation. I'm going to do whatever I got to do. I'm ignoring fuck everybody else. That ain't important to me. I don't want to hear about this. I don't want to hear about that, like, I say this to some people in the world or whatever, whatnot, when they ask me about sports and stuff like that. Oh, you didn't watch the game this weekend? I'm like, nah, because that nigga making that touchdown ain't putting no money in my pocket. I'm just wasting my time watching that shit. Really, that's not really for me or whatever, whatnot. Some people watch that for a pastime, but me personally, sometimes I would just say that to people like, nah, man, because them scoring a goal or whatever, whatnot, it's not putting money in my pocket. It's not making me no better or no worse of a person. So I could be doing something better with my life with that, But nevertheless, that's pretty much the spirit that these people will have in their mindset dealing with the Lord. Like, bro, if it ain't no bag attached to it, I don't want to hear that right now, cause I don't want to hear about the Lord. I don't want to hear you preaching. But you see how all almighty the Most High is ultimately, because look, he done brought everything to a screeching halt, man. All right, with all these little things, like just pondering, listening about all these different places being shut down, like the casinos, nightclubs, bars. Like they just here in Florida, they just basically shut down all the nightclubs and the bars. Quite a few of the beaches. A lot of things is shut down around us. You know what I'm saying? So like, or they have limited hours. You know, so where they got limited. How do you say? Store hours. They'll close really early and start sanitizing or whatever, whatnot. And I believe, I'm not sure if the malls are closed, but a majority of the stores in the malls are closed or whatever, whatnot. So, and a lot of these other businesses where people, how do I say, your everyday life, you know what I'm saying, is pretty much being interfered with the situation. So like I said, man, look at the power of the Most High, man. He's got everybody, all eyes are on him from everybody, whether they know it or not. People still, they're going to be blind to this. But the fact of the matter is the Most High, let's say, put it this way, when there's a hurricane outside, all the things outside is going to be affected by the hurricane. You see what I'm saying? Like the trees going to be blowing over. Why are the trees blowing over? Because the hurricane outside, and the hurricane bringing high winds. So the trees going to be affected by it. Your lawn equipment or your lawn chairs and stuff, they're going to be affected by it because the wind of the hurricane is out here doing its business. And because the hurricane is doing its business and you in the area, you're going to be affected by the effects of the hurricane. Same with the Most High, man. All right. Like I said, whether you know it or not, you know what I'm saying, what's going on as far as what the Lord is doing, everybody's being affected by this, For example, think about all the, because people have been joking about this all the time, about one of the biggest major things they're talking about is people cheating, these adulterous people, whatever, whatnot, talking about how some of these people ain't going to be able to cheat because they got to be around a significant other, the majority of the day they locked down in the house. So they, I got to be around this motherfucker. I can't even creep off with so on and so forth, and I'm like, damn, man. And listening to all these stories and stuff like that, it's like, damn, really, the Most High, it's all you wicked motherfuckers who be trying to ignore the Most High, man. He brought your ass, to a standstill, man. All right, you got casinos closing down and everything like that. Think about how long, casinos are predominantly open 24 hours a day. So think about how long they've been making money. Like you on a time clock, right? I've been making money from this time to that time. So everything in between there, I was making money. And casinos been doing this for years on end. Now, all of a sudden, they just shutting down. All right, the hotels over there shutting down. Like Las Vegas, I believe, either today or tomorrow, pretty much going to be a ghost town. All right, they shut down the casinos, and then they were going to shut down all the hotels that was out there, which they pretty much all one and the same. But the casino floor is going to be shut down first, and not to just abruptly throw everybody out the damn hotel. The hotels are staying out there. They did that, I believe, a day later. All right, but nevertheless, all of Vegas is being shut down. All right. You have a lot of these schools being shut down, which is bringing the kids, when you're a younger kid and in school and stuff like that, there's a lot of shit that don't really matter to you, like politics and certain things. Oh, they just passed this law. They passed that. Like, I don't give a fuck. I'm young. I don't have to worry about none of that shit right now, But these people are now being affected by it. A lot of kids in school, high school and stuff, so on and so forth, they don't really watch the news because at that age, it's nothing really, in their minds, it's nothing really important for them to be watching. They don't have to know about this and don't have to know about that. And they don't believe that certain things is going to change, their life or whatever, whatnot, And I remember when I was about that age, when I was real young like that, I didn't really care too much about politics, but well, somewhat, because they had the war situation after September 11th happened. But the stimulus package that George Bush gave, that was like the only thing I was like, what's this shit about, But other than that, I wasn't really watching no shit like that, man, because that was unimportant to me. I was young and living off in this here world, man. All right, but now the kids are being affected by it, These parents that are like, oh, you talking about negativity all day and this and that and so on and so forth. We don't watch the news because it's so depressing. You see these people, how many people you see they don't watch the news because it's so depressing or whatever, whatnot. They just try to ignore that and live in la la land. But guess what? Now they being affected by it, and it's so beautiful. You can see these people out of everybody else, man. Because these people want to be living in their damn delusion and in their own pride. No, everything is all good. Everything is all good. Don't bring your negativity around me. You're going to bring down my vibes or whatever, whatnot. So, they just delusional people. Like, so everything is all good and your whole world, everything to you is perfect because you just so-called think it's all perfect. You lying to yourself. But now that this is happening and they having an effect, they can't go to the gamble spot or the bingo spot or the casino. Oh, shit, I normally go to the strip club on Tuesdays or whatever fucking day or whatever whatnot, and I go do this. I go to the bar and I'm a normal bar rat, hang out at the bar all the time. Well, guess what? You can't go to the bar now. All these club heads, especially these younger folks who go to the club every single weekend and stuff like that, bro. Hey, you can't go to the club no more, man. All right, so now these people are starting to have to adjust. It's like you have a goddamn drug addict or whatever, whatnot. For the first time, they being locked up in jail. Now they sobering up. Really, they're detoxing. So now it's like, well, what the fuck do I do with my time? I normally just sit here and shoot cocaine or crack all day, whatever. You know what I'm talking about. You shooting some goddamn whatever the fuck you shooting up or whatever, whatnot, all goddamn day long. You just stay high all day. That's what you do. I get high and just sit around and get fucked up, right? But then all of a sudden, now you can't even go out. You know what I'm saying? Or I go to the casino and I gamble all day long, but now you can't go out and go gamble. And now you don't know what the fuck to do. A lot of people are going to lose their minds, man. All right? Which is, like I said, man, these things is like a domino effect, man. All right? The coronavirus started shutting things down, stop people from going out and living their so-called, escapism or whatever, getting their so-called drug of choice. And I say that drug of choice as far as not really like a drug, but like my fix is I go to the casino and gamble, or my fix is I go to the strip club, or my fix is I go to the nightclub. My fix is I go out to eat at these restaurants or whatever, whatnot. But now you're being affected because you can't go and do that, man. All right. And all these people that but work in these, so-called low-level jobs in which, for the majority of the part is way more of them than, people who would higher level jobs, and I say that like this, people working at the malls, people working in restaurants, servers and things like that. There's a lot of people like that that's sitting at home right now, and even much more people than that that's not even working in those type of jobs that have other type of jobs, like higher level up jobs than that, whether or not you work in an office type setting, call centers, factories and things like that. Your ass ain't going to work right now, man. And in my job, this whole week I've been meeting some customers I ain't never even met before, and I've been going out to them for the longest time, but I just don't ever run into them. Now they all sitting at home and meeting all these motherfuckers for the first time. And they all sad, scared about the coronavirus. Well, what are we going to do? We can't go out and golf now. We normally golf, 2 or 3 times out the week. We go on the boat 2 or 3 times a week. We can't do any of these things now. So they just sit at home all damn day now, But nevertheless, this is all bringing this here, this place to a whole new world, more or less to say, a whole unrecognizable place. But ultimately, this is the times that we've been praying for, because why? We know that, hey, what is that? Matthew 24 and verse 13, I think. Lord will not be able to grab it, where it says, those, roughly paraphrasing, if those days wouldn't be shortened, no flesh would be saved, but for the elect's sake, those days would be shortened, So, like, as you see, and then also going into what Jacob's trouble is going to be a time like never before, since there was a nation even into this time. When you put these scriptures together and things like that, you're going to know that these things are going to pretty much happen kind of rapidly, because we're not going to be going on for so long, like how everything is shut down now, right? They talking about having this prolonged, could be some months on in or whatever, whatnot. But, bro, we wouldn't be going on for no years on in like this, man. All right, this is the end all be all. And we, this thing is wrapping up, man. There's a lot of important things going on. And, you should be moving a certain type of way right now, making sure that you on point, more or less to say, make sure you make your call in your election sure, man. All right, especially if you're watching these videos or whatever, whatnot, because you don't know at any point in time the internet could go down and we, or they just clip us up off the internet, because that's still coming too, the persecution. All right, all these things are still coming. All right, let me briefly run through this here article real fast, but, just highlighting how all this stuff is bringing not only America, but the whole world to a grinding halt, man. All right, everybody now has to, whatever you was thinking about, the sport games. Oh, we was about to watch March Madness. We was about to do this, about to do that, about to go to prom, about to graduate, about to have a wedding, about to go to a funeral, about to do all these different things. But guess what? All that shit stopped. You can't do none of that shit right now. People are like, well, what the fuck are we going to do? We're going to go on vacation. We're going to go do this. We're going to do that. Now, your so-called fun life of just living and just living in folly or whatever, whatnot, eating, drinking, and being married and giving in marriage, that whole lifestyle has now come to a grinding halt, man. All right. So it says recession is here. World economy facing great uncertainty ahead, S&P say. The coronavirus has severely disrupted global economic activity, and the damage is about to get worse in the United States and Europe, according to the international credit rating agency S&P. It says the initial data from China suggests that suggests that its economy was hit far harder than projected, though a tentative stabilization has begun. S&P Global Chief Economist Paul Grudenwald said Europe and the U.S. are following a similar path as increasing restrictions on person-to-person contact presages a demand on collapse that will take activity sharply lower in the second quarter before a recovery begins later in the year. And like I said about these jobs here, you mainly have a lot of these so-called low-level jobs here where, a lot of these jobs are based off of like, what they say, like POS, point of sales. Like you right there and like you go to McDonald's, right? You see what I'm saying? It's not like a manufacturing job where they put in a huge order or a production company or something like that, where you work in a factory or something like that. But you have a lot of these, like if you was just out here in Babylon, you go to the store, you got to go get this, got to go get that. You see these people, whether you go to Walmart, a restaurant, the gas station, the bank, wherever you got to go to these little spots or whatever to get a lot of these things done. But all this is taking a hit because why? People can't go to work, or they're limiting people coming in or whatever, whatnot, which is stopping people from spending. All right, which is slowing up the money going into these business accounts, which the businesses not being open, not getting no income coming in is going to cripple, if not destroy these businesses. All right. So we already had some kind of, how do I put it, a situation where, a lot of people they were either underemployed or overqualified for a job, whether, you a heart surgeon or whatever, whatnot, but can't get a job in that field. So now you got to go work at McDonald's. All right. Or, used to, you had a 6-figure income working at, as a programmer, but now you got to drive Uber, This is the scenario that we living in now. All right. But it's about to get way worse because why? Like all these people that's supplementing their income with Uber and stuff like that. Well, there ain't really a lot of events to go to right now because, everything's pretty much shut down. So you can expect the Uber rides to go down. All right. So this is how it's crippling everything from here on out, man. According to the agency, the outbreak of the virus seems to have stabilized in much of Asia, but the data suggests that it has slowed economic activity far more than originally expected. We now have China as a model for how the virus spread could stabilize society and begin to return to normal. As China has shown, restrictions could be lifted more slowly than originally thought as public health concerns persist. S&P raised concerns about great uncertainty that lays ahead, saying the increasing restrictions on person-to-person contact in Europe and the U.S. has sent markets reeling at risk aversion. Raises and views on economic activity, earning, and credit quality deteriorate sharply. This is later in the day. Going back up to that, like I was just explaining, you got a job. Let's say McDonald's wasn't no franchise, right? Let's just say you own McDonald's, so you get the business. What I'm saying, but let's just say it's not a franchise. You own this one particular McDonald's, and it's the only one that's out there, right? And you know the type of traffic that McDonald's have, right? But now people ain't really going out; they can't quite go out, or a movie theater. Let's just put it that way. You got a movie theater or a bar or whatever, whatnot, and you normally packed at night, whatever, whatnot, because you got the best bar in town. But guess what? The bars are now being forced to be closed, and because of that scenario, your business just shut down overnight, man. All right, and ain't no telling when it's going to open back up, but your bills are still coming. You see what I'm saying? It says later in the day, S&P said in a second note that the U.S. economy, the world's largest, is either in the process of entering a recession or that it has already entered one, which we've already been in a recession, but they keep injecting money into the economy, all right, with these stimulus packages. And Donald Trump is writing up another one right now for the airlines, the hotels, and then there's talks about basically everybody getting $1,000 for this whole time or whatever, whatnot, which is just a cloak for them to just prop up the stock market again. Because again, if you're not watching and understanding how this stuff really works, they've been injecting money into the stock market for the longest time. You had the furloughs with the government shutdowns or whatever, whatnot, because they, couldn't make it to the end of the fiscal year. All right, to budget all they budgeted. All right, then at the end of last year, you had what they called these repos, where the government was injecting basically millions up to million a day. All right. First they was doing it this month, the next month, then the next month, then at the end of the year, they was just like, all right, we're gonna do this for the last couple days or the last, basically the last month of the year for every day. But they continue, they're still doing it to the same day, man. They're still just injecting money, injecting money, injecting money, injecting money. All right. They're just printing it and injecting it into the stock market. Now, as you see, the stock market is actually crashing, and it's crashing because of the fact that people are moving off of fear. They oh shit, we're gonna lose money, so they're pulling their money out. All right, and so you don't really see the real value of what's really in the stock market because it ain't really shit in there. It's only like a bunch of like jakes and stuff who just jumping on the bandwagon now to start investing. These real investors that was really scheming off of this shit and then pulled all their money out long time ago. All right, that like way before. Put it this way, before Donald Trump even got in office, they didn't pull all their money out, all right? But nevertheless, now this is why you see in the rise of these apps like Acorn, Stash, and whatnot, because they're trying to get more and more people to put money into the stock market to make it actually look like there's something in there before somebody catch on and be like, wait a minute, all the money that's in there is all this money you keep putting in there as the government. Ain't no real value in this shit, man. You know what I'm saying? But nevertheless, they have to find a way to keep writing these stimulus packages and keep printing up more money. How much more than that than when people are so-called economically feeling it in their own pockets and the government need to do something. We can't be taken off of work. All right, well, look, we're going to give you a stimulus package. We're going to hook y'all up. We're going to get the airlines, the hotels, and so on and so forth, and whoever else is affected by it like that, And that's at the forefront. That's to keep you from crying or whatnot, problem, reaction, solution. They got you where they needed you. Just go ahead and agree with this. But what you don't realize is they only allocated, let's just say, they gave you 100%. They're going to inject 100% of this here money into the economy, right? But you will only receive 10% of this injection, all right? You and the shit that you complain about is only going to receive 10% of that injection. The other 90% of it is going to go basically where they need and want it to go, basically to so-called make the system still look, like it's bouncing back or whatnot, or things are actually looking kind of good. This is why they're talking about a bubble. All right, we always hear talk about an economic bubble, whether it be in the housing market, the cars, or whatnot, because they already know it's going to pop. It's not stable, bro. This is going to go. It's not a good system. It's not like, oh, it's proficient. It's going to just keep going or whatever. No, this shit is already, it's going to go, bro. It's only a matter of time before it does go, It says, the rating agency explained that the nation's GDP is expected to fall by 1% in the first quarter and by 6% in the second quarter. Ironically, consumer spending, which was once the U.S. economy's savior, is now the culprit. U.S. chief economist at S&P, Beth Ann Bovano, said. All right, so like I said, man, the Most High is basically bringing, hey, look at that, Clearwater Beach shut down for 2 weeks, But ultimately, the Most High is bringing this here place unto a grinding halt, man. Not just America, but the whole globe, all right? But we're going to start here in Isaiah 14. It's just, a couple of precepts came to my mind as I was reading through a couple of these here articles, and we like, and you can go to any news outlet, but I was looking at RT, damn near every single article has to do with either the economy, the coronavirus, or some shit like that, one or the other. All right, but this is Isaiah 14 and 4. It says, thou shalt take up this proverb against the king of Babylon and say, how has the oppressor ceased and the golden city ceased? All right, and this golden city is talking about what? America, all right? And so right now, as you see, all these people who was always walking around talking about, oh, America's got the greatest military, America's got the greatest economy, America's the greatest, we ain't gonna never fall, so on and so forth. We're gonna ride until the sunset, and the sun don't set over here, But nevertheless, this here golden city is now ceasing, man. How did you have the most popping nightclub where we popping all the time, where we world famous? Everybody know our nightclub or our strip club or our bar or whatnot, or our favorite concert hall or this arena or whatnot. We normally have this shit packed, or the sporting games, sporting events, and all these different things, and the parties they would normally be having. Even with the movies that's coming out, they try to switch up the deals now to where they could just go straight to streaming, where people can watch from home, instead of going out to the movie theaters, So as you see, all of the production, the movement, the jobs, and everything is came to a grinding halt, man. Everything is at a standstill now. They reevaluating how they doing certain things now. All right. Let me actually jump down. Verse 11. All right, this is talking about Babylon as well, too. It says, thy pomp is brought down to the grave, the noise of thy vows, the worm is spread under thee, and the worms cover thee. All right, that, ultimately the pride of these Edomites is being brought down. That's, like I said, that's what I see in my everyday,
walking life as I'm, at my actual physical job, dealing with these damn Edomites. They coming all out, all sorrowful and talking about this and that and, oh, this is the end and everything like that. I just don't know. And so on and so forth. How could this happen? Now they starting to see that everything is crumbling up under them, man. You can see it on their face, whether they know it or they don't know it. They in that so-called impoverished spirit or whatever, whatnot, where they just defeated already, man. But hey, this is only the beginning. And hey, it's funny. The Most High might have to actually put that spirit on you to harden your, how do I say, to harden your heart more. Let's just say. I don't want to grab next. Oh yeah, I quoted this. Let me grab this real quick since I quoted it. Matthew 24, I think it's verse 8. Well, I can read verse 8. All these are the beginning of sorrows. Let me go up a little bit. Verse 6. And you should hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that you be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines and pestilence and earthquakes in diverse places. That pestilence is going into what? Diseases. And all these are the beginning of sorrow. So this is the beginning of, what you would call so-called judgment day, that time frame where the Lord's going to start judging people, man. All right, in a major way. Let's go down to verse 22. It says, and except those days be shortened, then should no flesh be saved, but for the elect's sake, those days shall be shortened. So like I was speaking on earlier, looking at these last final prophecies, we know that they're going to all come back to back to back to back real quick, But saying that to say this, you should be measuring the time diligently and seeing what you need to be doing at this last time, man, because these are your last final moments to be getting right with the Lord, man, and serve the Lord. These are your last final moments, all right? Let me go from there to, you know what? Let me read this real quick. This has been coming out a whole lot lately. Ecclesiastes 12. I just start at verse 1. It says, remember now thy creator in the days of thy youth, while the evil days come not, nor the years draw nigh when thou shalt say, I have no pleasure in them. So that's why, you should be seeking the Lord early while he may be found. All right. Because look, we laughing at these people now that's, that used to laugh at us or whatever, whatnot. But now they either sick or whatever, whatnot. They out there telling them, oh, pray for us. Y'all pray for America. Pray. Nah, bro, that's just kind of funny, man. Now you trying to seek the Lord. Now that these calamities came, man, you should have been seeking him beforehand. Verse 2, while the sun or the light or the moon or the stars be not darkened, nor the clouds return after the rain. And the days when the keepers of the house shall tremble and the strong men shall bow themselves. All right. And that's what you have going on right now. You have a lot of these so-called elites, or not really big elites, but these so-called rich, prominent people or whatever, whatnot. And you're, better off Edomites or whatever, whatnot. They look at these things and these economic woes coming. All right. And they're in their sorrow, man. They're really in their sorrows. And it's like, I was actually speaking to this one person today while I was at work, and they was like, "Oh no, I'm kind of in a bond right now. I'm in an economic crunch, and I'm like, damn, you ain't really even been off of work for a whole week yet. You know what I'm saying? You already talking about you behind and everything like that, And this is an Edomite, and they live on a goddamn golf course, And I'm like, oh, hold up, bro. Like, how y'all, what's going on here already? Now everything is flip flopping on their ass, and it's kind of funny now. How these Edomites are seeing this here fear. All right. It says, in the day when the keeper of the house shall tremble, and the strong men shall bow themselves, and the grinders cease because they are few, and they that look out the windows are darkened, and the door shall be shut in the streets, and the sound of grinding is low, or when the sound of grinding is low. And that's what you're seeing right now, man. Everything is coming to a grinding halt, man. All these businesses and so on and so forth. In fact, like my neighbor, right? I got my neighbor, it's this chick. She a bartender. When I used to work at my last job, I would work into the nighttime or whatever, whatnot. So we would basically be getting off work at the same time, pulling up at the same time or whatever, whatnot. So she basically work at nighttime, damn near every day she work at nighttime, or, when bars and shit open. But now, since yesterday and today, it's like, I'm on a whole nother schedule now. So I come home kind of like in the daytime or the end of the day, way earlier than I used to, way late at night. But now I've been seeing her car all the time, next door. I'm like, damn, she ain't been going to work the last couple of days. So, they starting to feel it or whatever, whatnot, So all these people are starting to feel these economic woes, man. All right, they starting to feel all these things. And so now it's like, these people that was walking around with this here facade, well, I don't really know about this on Facebook. You hear the stories and shit, but on these social media sites, how everybody's living living a facade, man. They living this fake ass life that they got going on. Oh, everything is all good. I'm all balling and
taking these fake pictures of doing good and everything is all good. But now, it's starting to show now, really all those people are really, really looking bad now. They might have a job where, they flexing off they little whatever, whatnot, their little paycheck or whatever, whatnot. How when Jake be young, get their little paycheck and take a picture of their paycheck, not the paycheck itself, but after they cash it, oh, I got this guap. Like, nigga, that's your regular paycheck, but now all these things are coming to a grinding halt, man. How I think about it is funny, these damn strippers and shit like that, man. Somebody was making a joke about these women who be selling the box and shit for their little come up. You got a lot of these so-called women that's like selling their shit low key on these social media sites. All right. And I can't think what the fuck they call them. But you'll see if some of the names are like Instagram models or whatever, whatnot. But basically, these women is like, yo, dog, you can go, basic prostitution, basically. You go deal with them or whatever, whatnot. You break them off or whatever. Or they got these dudes that's so-called their boyfriends, but you got to be getting their hair done, nail done, and all this and that. You just basically a side piece for them, the dude boy or whatever, whatnot. But now people's like, nah, I got to quarantine, stay at home. I got to see what's important in life. Everybody's so-called sobered up real quick, like everybody at the party getting drunk, getting all fucked up and laughing and joking, being stupid. Then like something kind of happens real quick, or you out with your homies and shit, getting all fucked up out late. And you was like, you supposed to be home at 9 o'clock and your wife or your old lady call. All of a sudden you get sober real quick, or you getting fucked up as a young teenager or whatever, whatnot. And your parents call you on the phone, like, why they keep calling back to back? All of a sudden you sober up real quick. It's like, oh shit, hold on, bro. Y'all playing too much. Shut up. My mama calling or whatever, That's not the state of mind that everybody's in right now, man. That's the type of how do I put it? That's the condition of these people right now, man. They all walking around looking like, what the fuck is gonna happen, man? And the uncertainty of when these things are gonna pick back up, man. All right, they don't know. They all out here lost, man. All right. This is ultimately gonna happen. I could have read this whole thing, but I'm gonna just get to the point here. My phone's about to die. This is where is it at? Oh, it's right here in my face. All right. So I'm gonna start at Isaiah 19, I'm gonna start at verse 14. Yahweh have mingled a perverse spirit in the midst thereof, and they have caused Egypt to err in every work thereof, as a drunken man staggereth in his vomit. And this is talking about, here in America, basically, just like in Deuteronomy 28 and 68, you're going to be on those slave ships, basically. You're going to go back to Egypt. You're going to go back to Egypt again on ships. That wasn't talking about over there, in Africa. That was talking about basically into bondage again, So that's, this here places like in the book of Revelation, spiritually, Sodom and Egypt, But it says, Yahweh have mingled a perverse spirit in the midst thereof, and they have caused Egypt to err in every work thereof, and as a drunken man staggereth in his vomit. All right, because beforehand, a lot of people was over here laughing and joking about this, but now that they job getting shut down, the kids sitting at home, can't get shit in the grocery store, everybody's, like I said, you out here doing drugs and getting drunk with your homies as a teenager, and then your mom keep calling your phone all of a sudden when, you know what I'm saying, you're like, oh shit, now everybody's starting to sober up. Like, man, what the fuck is going on here, man? It says, neither shall there be any work for Egypt, which the head or the tail, branch, or rush may do. All right. And that's what you see going on right now, man. It's not just, when they talking about the kids getting out of school, they ain't gonna go, oh, that look like the teachers ain't gonna be working. Then they shutting down the bars, the clubs, all these people who thought that, oh, my job ain't that important for us to shut down. They all getting shut down now, man. All right. Your nightclubs and so on and so forth. You might have just thought I was DJ. I just go and party. We always in a good time, setting or whatever, whatnot. Oh, that's just getting shut the fuck down, man. Oh, I just work at the Gap at the mall. Oh, that shit getting shut the fuck down, man. All right. Let me read that again. Verse 15, neither shall there be any work for Egypt, which the head or the tail, branch, or rush may do. All right. Because why? All these things are coming to a grinding halt, man. This whole situation is changing up, man. All right. So, hey, be prepared for what's coming up after this, man. Because lo and behold, it's not going to just snap back and everything going to go right back to normal like this ain't never happened before. All right. It's going to be just like after 9/11 happened, man. After 9/11 happened or whatever, whatnot, guess what? Cameras went up everywhere. Super police state, they tapping everything and so on and so forth, But nevertheless, let me see. Do I want to grab anything else?
You know what? I can mention this because our people shouldn't be in this here mind state anyway. This is Micah 2:10. Arise ye and depart, for this is not your rest, because it is polluted. It shall destroy you even with a sword of destruction. All right? Because, you know, you have a lot of our people here in America, all right, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans who's so-called just living it up here. You know, you all at ease or whatever, whatnot. Everything is all good. Everything is all cool, calm, and kosher, whatever, whatnot. And, you know, oh, we just living it up and so on and so forth, especially, you know, those that are panicking and tripping out over all this stuff as everything is closing down. Yeah, in the flesh, more or less to say, you know, while you in the flesh, yeah, things are kind of getting bad as far as, you know, economic wise, you know, oh, you might not be going to work. And then, because you know how it is being Jake here with the so-called white man ruling over top of you, you know, even though that we in this big ass situation that everybody's into, I'm forced not to go to work and shit. So I ain't going to be getting paid. So y'all can't be tripping over my fucking bills not being paid because I was forced not to go to work over some shit I couldn't do. You know, this is how Jake, you know, be thinking about certain things or whatever, whatnot, or, you know, they just might just be down and out. Oh shit, I can't go out to the game. I can't go out to this. I can't go partake in these stupid ass activities or whatever, whatnot, you know. But guess what? This ain't, let me read it again. Micah 2:10, arise ye and depart, for this is not your rest. All right. This is not your heaven, bro. This is your hell. This is your prison. It says, because it is polluted, it shall destroy you even with a sword of destruction. Now, you know, dealing with all these other things, you know, you could basically ultimately fall asleep partaking in this Babylonian shit, you know. You out here chasing these women, clubbing, doing all the shit, all the little events and the shit that they got going on here in America, you know, all the going out and all that extra shit. You know, you can get really distracted and so caught up in all that stuff that, you know, you basically wind up going back to sleep as far as being woke to this here truth, you know. But nevertheless, it says, because it is polluted, it shall destroy you. All right. Because again, in that scenario, everything is here set up to make you fail, basically. Just for a quick example, they got bacon on everything. You trying to sell a new food product, put bacon on there. All right. One of the things that Esau do is he know about the things we weren't supposed to be doing according to the scriptures, and he promotes that on a heavy level, man. All right. But what? In this time, in this scenario with these things shutting down and everything going to hell in the handbasket right now, our people should be rejoicing and not panicking and living in sorrow, man. All right. Because that's going to ultimately destroy you, because you trying to hang on to a sinking ship, man. You got to let that shit go, bro. Like, fuck that. We got to get up out of here, man. This shit is going down, you know, like in the movie Titanic, you know, they trying to go down with the ship and all of that. I'd be like, fuck that, nigga. I'm getting on one of these safety boats and getting the hell up out of here, man. What y'all gonna do? You gonna fire me if I get off the boat? Nigga, if I don't get off the boat, I'm gonna be dead. What's the point? Nah, forget all that, you know. But nevertheless, you know, it's these people here, our people, all right, that's here in America, you know, you don't want to be going down with the ship, sobbing and sorrowful for all this here stuff that's going down, man. It's nah, man. This is a time, and somebody made this analogy. It's more or less like when you in school or whatever, whatnot, like high school, middle school, or whatever, whatnot. Then all of a sudden the power go out, or like there's a water line break on campus and everybody got to evacuate. Somebody pulled the fire alarm, or let's just say the water line break, and y'all all got to evacuate the building, and then they got to send everybody home. The kids gonna be like, yes, because it's a so-called win for the in their case, the good guys. They would be the good guys. The teachers and the authority figures would be the bad guys. You know, they're like, man, we don't like listening to them. We want to rebel at any point. Now that the power went out and we ain't gonna have to sit in these seats and take these tests, we won one, you know, or whatever, whatnot. Or they cancel a day of school or something. That's how the kids feel. That's how Jake should be feeling at this point in time, as Babylon is being canceled right now, man, and being shut the fuck down, man. This is our prison that's got us out here in prison, man. All right? Let me close with that, matter of fact. Second Peter chapter 3 and 10. Now I know this is dealing with the ICBM thermonuclear missiles, but you know, we getting into the beginning of all these things. So that's how it's going to end in thermonuclear missiles. All right, a nuke bath over here. Everything's going to end up like that. All right, but as we get to those days and everything, all this stuff is starting to fade away slowly but surely. You know, the nukes is just going to sweep up the rest of the mess. You know, but it says Second Peter chapter 3 verse 10. But the day of the Lord will come as a thief in the night, all right, coming unexpected, you know. Just a couple of weeks ago, everybody was tripping over Kobe Bryant's death, and that was the biggest story, the biggest thing, so on and so forth. Then now, all of a sudden, the whole world came to a grinding halt with the coronavirus, all right? Everybody got caught like a thief in the night, man. All these people that was talking about the Lord don't exist, judgment, and this and that, they trying to ignore that, and they just being proud or whatever, whatnot. Now they all coming back around, their tails tucked between their legs, because why? They got ran up on by that thief in the night, man. Told your ass don't go in that alley after dark, man. They gonna snatch your shit, man. Now, ain't nobody gonna snatch my chain off my neck, nigga. Guess what? They didn't snatch your chain, but now you are, hey, man, I just want my chain back. Y'all niggas play too much, man. It's one of those scenarios, you know? It says, but the day of the Lord will come as a thief in the night, in which the heavens shall pass away with a great noise, and the elements shall melt with fervent heat. The earth also and the works therein shall be burned up. All right, so, it's talking about a thermonuclear destruction. All right, verse 11, all right, seeing that all these things shall be dissolved, all right, and that's the point I wanted to hit at. All these things, all this shit's going away anyway. You see what I'm saying? Whether or not, let's just say, for instance, the kids getting out of school or whatever, they might not ever go back to school anyway. Like, all right, well, don't be, all bent out of shape over that. You know what I'm saying? If anything, measure the time diligently. All this shit finna get turned into a goddamn nuclear pile of ash anyway. We just getting closer to that, man. All right, so as you can measure these things, let me read the script. 2 Peter chapter 3, verse 11. Seeing that all these things shall be dissolved, what manner of person ought you to be in all holy conversation and godliness? All right. So knowing that all this is going to be wiped away anyway, what should you be doing? Oh, man, they just canceled my vacation and my cruise ship or my cruise I'm about to go on. They just canceled March Madness, bro. Oh, this shit fucked up, nigga. What I'm going to do, man? Man, all this shit finna get gone anyway, man. You should be like, all right, well, fuck it. Now shit getting real. Let me pay attention more now than ever, Verse 12, looking for and hastening into the coming of the day of the Lord, wherein the heavens being on fire shall be dissolved and elements shall melt with fervent heat. All right, let me read this all again in verse 11. Seeing that all these things shall be dissolved, what manner of person are you to be in holy conversation and godliness, looking for and hastening unto the coming of the day of the Lord, wherein the heavens being on fire shall be dissolved and the elements shall melt with fervent heat. So again, like I said, man, we shouldn't be all brought down and low and sorrowful for this shutdown of Babylon in the world, really, ultimately, unless you living in this here world where you want to go on your vacations. Oh, I'm about to go to France. When I get back from there, I'm going to Hawaii. I'm traveling. I'm doing all this and doing all that. Yeah, if that's your mind state, then yeah, you're going to be sad because, your first mind state is living in this here world, man. All right, but what? We just read in Micah 2, all right, 2 and 10, this ain't your rest, man. This not your kingdom to be living up, man. And right now, you should be focused way more now than ever because we're about to get delivered up out of here, man. You need to make sure that you make your call and your election sure, man. All right, so you can be delivered and be a part of this first fruit so you don't be a part of this here nuclear pile of ash over here in America, man. All right, you need to do all that you need to do to make everything, how do I say, you've done all that you could do, more or less to say, But it says, verse 12, starting off at the top again, it says, looking for and hastening to the coming of the day of the Lord. That's the spirit we should be in. Come on, Lord, bring some more of this shit. Let's see what the next shit's gonna be. Fuck these niggas up, man. Hell yeah, I hope a lot more shit gets shut the fuck down. I hope they shut everything the fuck down. I hope that all blah, 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 so on and so forth. I hope that they push the microchip tomorrow. That's the spirit of the Lord we need to be in. You know what I'm saying? Man, they need to just bring out the art. You know what? I'm gonna write a letter to Donald Trump. Look, nigga, we can fix all this shit if you just implement an RFID chip and make everybody take that shit. And we can check and see if niggas got the vaccine with that. That's the type of spirit you should be in, And let me read it again. Verse 12, looking for and hastening to the coming of the day of the Lord. And don't be simple. Oh, this nigga is for the RFID chip. No, well, we are for the RFID chip, which is the market. We for that shit. We for them pushing that shit because we know why. The elect's not going to take it. But we know that as soon as they push that shit, you know what I'm saying? This is basically when the Lord, what did it say? In Job, you can read it in Job 5. You can also read it in Job 20. In Job 20, when he's about to fill his belly, the Most High going to rain it down on him. He's going to flee from the iron weapon. All right? Job 5 says that he disappointed I got to get it. Job 5 and 12. He disappointed the devices of the crafty so that their hands cannot perform their enterprise. He taketh the wise in their own craftiness, and the counsel of the forward is headlong. So, hey, you know what I'm saying? Push the goddamn chip, man. Bring that shit out. Let's go ahead and get on with this shit because we know as soon as you do that, you're going to start persecuting us. Famine of the word going to come. You're going to start persecuting us. Jacob's trouble going to be in full effect. World War III going to pop off. Then they're going to start shooting them thermonuclear missiles. The Lord going to deliver us up out of here. We're going to go start hunting out these elites and chain these niggas up, and they're going to be our first fruits of slavery, man. We're ready for the kingdom of heaven, man. This is what we've been praying for, hastening this day to come, man. All right? So, hey, man, it's just another beautiful day in Babylon. You know what I'm saying? It's another, hey, our spirits is all changed. It used to be like, yeah, brother, I'm just enduring as best as I can in this bitch. Hey, it's a beautiful day in Babylon, man. Shit is getting shut down. Motherfuckers is now, let me grab that. Isaiah 65:13. Therefore, thus saith Yahweh power, behold, my servants shall eat, but you shall be hungry. Behold, my servants shall drink, but you shall be thirsty. Behold, my servants shall rejoice, but you shall be ashamed. Now, the point I wanted to grab in all that, this is all, obviously it's all true, but the point I wanted to grab for just this here statement I was trying to make, it says, my servants shall rejoice, but you shall be ashamed. All right, now adding that to verse 14, behold, my servants shall sing for joy of heart, but you shall cry for sorrow of heart and shall howl for vexation of spirit. All right, so look, the men of the Lord, we on a whole nother cloud nine right now, man. We rejoicing in the spirit right now, while everybody else is sorrowful right now because their so-called bread and circuses are coming to a halt, man. All right, but what? Salvation is getting one more step closer to, to where we at, or we're getting one step closer to salvation, So I'm gonna go ahead and close out with that. Lord willing, this here lesson was edifying into the elect. Until next time, I say, call halal Yahweh, Bahashim Yahweh Shai, Bahashim Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders, a great millstone that taught us his truth, never will. And salutation and much love for you, Akim, pushing his truth and sincerity on the four corners of the earth and enduring afflictions to feed and edify the elect. Until next time, I say, stay strong and shalom.